Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Balanced Business Coach. My name is Tony Robinson, and I am a life coach for leaders. I help individuals and teams create more balance within their personal and professional lives so that they can create a bigger and better impact on the places that they serve. Today's episode, we're going to be talking all about misconceptions about burnout, what doesn't cause it, and what actually does. You're going to want to stay tuned because it might surprise you that these things that you're trying really hard to implement or that you're working really hard to sustain are actually not the things that you need to be focused on. I created this post a couple of weeks ago. It just kind of came out of me. Like I was just writing a post about something totally different. And all of a sudden, this idea came to my mind, and I was like, I need to do a full podcast episode on this. The caption was talking about 3 things that we do to overcome burnout that actually isn't the root cause of our burnout, and it's really not getting us anywhere. And then it also went on to talk about 3 really important things that you do need to be focusing on to overcome or prevent your burnout from happening ever again. So with all of that being said, let's get into it. All right, so I want to start with talking about 3 misconceptions about what leads to burnout. Because as much as we may feel that these are really important to help alleviate our burnout symptoms, they're not actually going to solve the root cause of our burnout. The first misconception is organizational techniques. I remember when I was at my 9 to 5 and I would look for every organizational technique under the sun. I would also always tell my team that the key to better optimization, better efficiency was organization. And while that may have been true, there were so many other factors that were playing a part that organization techniques were never going to solve. And I wish I would have had a better understanding of that at the time so that I could have addressed the root issues rather than trying to put a Band-Aid fix on something that had nothing to do with organization or how organized we were. I actually feel that organization was something that I ended up using as a tactic to procrastinate from things that I probably could have been doing. I was so overwhelmed with the sheer volume of everything that I was responsible for that I felt if I could just organize this in such a perfect way, then I would be able to knock everything out in a more orderly, timely fashion. But what actually happened was I spent so much time organizing everything that I had that it left me very little time to do what I needed to do. And unfortunately, that led to more burnout and higher stress levels. The other side of this coin is that sometimes organization really did help. It allowed me to free up space. It allowed me to clear things out of my queue. However, what it also did was it gave me more space to fill. I am someone who is a people pleaser. I'm a high achiever. I'm somebody who wants to always be doing something. So when I had space, that meant it needed to be filled. And that was the part that I really needed to address within me that no amount of organization was ever going to fix. So if you are feeling the same way where you are trying all of these things, you're super organized, you've got all of these different to-do lists and it's optimized and it helps you and you are checking things off, but your plate is still full, it might be because you are having trouble setting boundaries or saying no, or maybe you just really like that validation that people give you when you complete more tasks. But let's talk about that a little bit later. Moving on to misconception number 2, optimizing your schedule. This can be really beneficial when you are feeling like certain days you get so inundated with meetings that you can't get any work done. It can be really helpful to optimize your schedule based on your own energy levels and how you work best. So if you work really well on deep work, really focused and concentrated work in the mornings, don't schedule meetings for those times. If you work better having all your meetings on one day and then doing deeper work on another day or project-based work on another day, you want to schedule your calendar in a way that works for you best. But what I have also found in people who are burning out or who are likely to burn out, they optimize their schedule and then fill it with more things. So even if you have space to take a break or a lunch, or even if you have space to do some deeper work, you may fill it with a meeting because that space is there. You have a hard time setting those boundaries, saying no, or you don't like seeing the empty space because it makes you feel like you're doing something wrong, like you're missing something, like someone is going to come up to your calendar and be like, why is this empty space here? Like, why are you not doing something at this time on this day? It's not a bad thing to have empty space. It's not. I promise you, it's not a bad thing. You will find a way to fill that space regardless. But it's better to have more space available than to pack your schedule full and then not have any flexibility for, let's say you do need to leave for an emergency, or let's say that an emergency at work pops up, or let's say that you have to turn in a project a little bit earlier than normal. Or maybe you just want to get ahead on a couple things because you have a vacation coming up. Having that space in your schedule is going to be helpful for you, and it's going to alleviate stress long term. So make sure that you're not clearing your schedule for efficiency only to add more to your schedule. The reason you should be more efficient and more optimized in your schedule is to have additional space, is to have more flexibility. So make sure that you are working on your belief system around empty space is okay. Empty space is a good thing. Misconception number 3 is that you need the best energy drinks, the best supplements, mushroom elixirs, cans of Celsius. You need all of the best of the best of the best so that you can stay energized throughout the day to get your work done. Listen, I am a drink junkie. I love to have a glass of lemon water and a latte and also something fizzy all on my desk at the same time. I use it to stay focused. I use it to boost my energy. I use it to keep me feeling motivated throughout the day. But what I have found through my own journey is that drinking that coffee at 3 p.m. or drinking an energy drink at 2 o'clock or after lunch is going to actually make you work longer hours because you're going to be so energized after that drink that you're going to keep working. You're going to feel like, oh, I've got motivation right now. Let me knock this out. And it's actually going to put you deeper into burnout. It's going to put you at a higher possibility of burnout because you're not taking a break and giving yourself that time and space away from work when you're supposed to. So I would recommend, instead of using energy drinks or supplements to combat the lack of energy that you're having because you're burned out or because you're stressed or because you hit that 3 o'clock slump, I would do things that give you more natural energy. Things like going for a run, going for a walk, doing some breathwork techniques. I actually just did a video on breathwork techniques last week. I'll link it here down below. And one of the techniques in it is for when you're not feeling like you have enough energy anymore. So make sure you check that out, but not yet. Wait till we get to the end of this video and then you can head over there. But the point is, make sure that you are doing things that increases your energy naturally rather than trying to put a band-aid fix over all of this stress and low energy that you have due to working longer hours, due to stress from your workload. You do not want to add more to that. We're trying to alleviate that. Okay, so you're probably thinking, all of this is great, Tony. Thank you for telling us all of the reasons why we are not burned out, but why are we burned out? And how can we actually overcome this horrible, horrible thing that we're experiencing? Don't worry, that is what this part of the podcast is about. So the first thing that you want to do to start to recover from burnout or to start preventing it proactively is to get clear on your values. You need to know what your values are. You need to know what your non-negotiables are. You need to know when you say no and when you say yes. So some questions that you could ask yourself are, what do I feel like I'm sacrificing? What do I care about? And what do I wish I could do more of? The more you ask these questions and get clear on what is important to you, where you feel like you're missing something, you will get closer to identifying where you want to go. And then it will be easier to get to the next part where we set boundaries and we start to change the dynamic and the habits that we have with work. So the second thing that I would do if you're trying to overcome burnout is I would start to build your confidence around setting boundaries. Because as much as we talk about, oh, just set boundaries, say no, it's not always that easy, especially as someone who has been a people pleaser, a perfectionist, a savior for so long. It is almost impossible for us to just like cold turkey start saying no to shit. Like, it doesn't work that way. It's really, really hard for us to put ourselves in a position where we may disappoint someone else. So the important thing for you to do when you're trying to start setting boundaries and overcome burnout because of your lack of boundaries or because you have trouble saying no is to become more confident in yourself and in your values. So some things that I would do to start building up that confidence is to journal. Journal on your dreams, on your goals. Start listing out the things that matter to you that you would love to be able to do. Start expressing gratitude, like at least once a week. Make a list of 20 to 30 things that you are so grateful for. And it doesn't have to be big things. It could be small, but just make that list and it will start to change how much you appreciate in your life. And that will give you the key to what you value. Another thing you could do to build confidence is mirror work. This is when you look at yourself in the mirror. This can be a little bit challenging for some people because when you're lacking confidence and when you're feeling a little bit unsure about the direction of your life, if you're feeling super stressed and overwhelmed, the last thing you want to do is just stare at yourself in the mirror and say nice things. But I promise you, this is a really, really powerful practice if you do it on a regular basis. So all you have to do is sit down in front of the mirror, look at yourself just as I'm looking at you right now, and state some positive affirmations. So you could say things like, I believe in myself. It's okay for me to say no. I am powerful. Things like that are going to help reprogram your self-conscious. And when you're looking at yourself in the mirror, when you say those things, it is going to make such a deeper imprint on the subconscious when you're saying it out loud. And then the last thing that I would recommend when you're trying to build self-confidence is EFT. I have several videos on EFT. I also have multiple EFT resources in my feelings toolbox. I'll link that down below as well. It is such an amazing resource for regulating your nervous system and reprogramming subconscious beliefs. And there's actually one of the feelings in the feelings toolbox is doubtful. So if you're feeling that insecurity or if you're feeling doubtful about starting to set those boundaries, there are journal prompts, an EFT, there's meditations, there's affirmations to reprogram. It is so good. I swear it would be like a perfect complement to this reprogramming. So make sure you go grab that. It's linked down below. And then the last thing that I would do if I was trying to overcome burnout or trying to prevent it from happening proactively is I would probably try to work with a coach or somebody who has been through this before. Depending on how far deep you are into burnout and how strong these beliefs are ingrained in you, you're going to need someone to hold you accountable. You're going to need someone to hold your hand and help you through this very personal and intimate journey that you are going to have to take in order to overcome the things that have gotten you to the place of burnout to begin with. This is something that I would absolutely love to be a guide for. If you wanted that personal one-on-one support, you can absolutely work with me. The information on how to work one-on-one with me is linked down below. If you're not ready to take that next step, I do have a free burnout training. It's also linked down below, and that will get you started on your burnout prevention and bounce back journey. It'll teach you the stages of burnout, how to overcome burnout, some self-care tips, and a roadmap to overcoming burnout altogether. So please go check that out if you haven't already. Again, if you do want to work one-on-one, that information is all down below. I thank you so much for being here today. I hope you learned a thing or two. Hopefully this was helpful for you. I would love to hear from you. Drop a comment below. If you're on YouTube, let me know what you think. If you are on Apple Podcasts, be sure to connect with me on LinkedIn or Instagram. I'd love to hear from you, get your feedback, talk to you about how this is impacting your life or what you're going through in general. It would be amazing to actually speak with you guys. I know this is just like a one-way conversation as I'm talking on this video, but it would be amazing to have it two ways and hear from you guys. I would absolutely love that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really, really helps me out and it's free. So why not? Also, if you want to get notified anytime I post a video, I post every single Monday and 2 Wednesdays a month with a little boost of balance. So if you hit that bell icon, you can get notified as soon as those drop. That is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much as always for being here. And until next time, take care.